Imagine a slow-motion movie scene where the world is dazzling outside and inside. A living person has become motionless. The person is not asleep. The person is staring. A thumb keeps working with mechanical calm, like a metronome that never learned music. And if you're honest, you've seen this version of yourself too, even if you called it something softer like relaxation, self-care, or just a quick check. This video is for the souls who feel something is draining them, but they can't explain what it is. For the young who don't feel lazy, they feel stunned. For the ambitious who still can't start. For the people who swear they want a real life, while their hands keep reaching for the same glowing refuge. I'm going to tell you the truth you keep avoiding. What you call spending time is often spending your emotional budget. And once that budget is gone, you don't get it back by promising yourself you'll try harder tomorrow. Picture the year 2026, a narrow room between city noise and your own silence. Outside, everything moves at 5.0 speed. Lights are bright, notifications are louder than birds, cars hiss like snakes. People act like they're always late to something. But inside, time feels frozen. On the phone screen, there's music, edits, captions, cinematic colors. It doesn't matter what it shows. Your brain is responding to stimulation, not meaning. Now look closely at the face. It's not the face of someone who has chosen pleasure. It's the face of someone who is coping. The eyes are slightly hollow, as if the soul is watching from the back row. And the thumb keeps moving because the thumb has learned a survival route. Swipe now, feel less now, don't think now. This isn't just entertainment. This is a system that trains helplessness. It's not weakness, it's engineering. People think the enemy is laziness, but laziness is a myth. Laziness would require choice. This is not a choice. This is the result of a reward system collapsing under constant manipulation. In psychology, there's a phrase for when the brain stops learning from rewards in a healthy way. You become numb to what should feel good. You chase stimulation because ordinary life no longer delivers the hit you were trained to crave. And that numbness doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like emptiness with a pulse. Here's the brutal part most people refuse to say out loud. The young generation isn't simply wasting time. They are spending the future too early. Not with money, with emotion, with depth, with the ability to be moved. They consume excitement as if it's infinite. They drain their reservoir of raw feelings into cheap simulations, then act surprised when reality stops sounding beautiful. They can see everything and hear everything. They can summarize anything in a few seconds. They can recite trends like facts, but they haven't lived any of it in the slow, expensive way that changes a person. Their nervous system has been trained to require intensity, so when life comes plain, life feels dull, not because life got worse, because their interior got damaged by overconsumption. There's a reason the videos, the reels, the short-form clips feel addictive in a way that feels biological. Dopamine isn't a villain, it's supposed to be a signal for progress. In nature, reward motivates survival and development. If you work, if you wait, if you endure, the brain says yes, you did something meaningful. The reward isn't just pleasure, it's a chemical stamp that tells your mind you are becoming. Once, humans paid for rewards with patience. Imagine a soldier far from home waiting months for one letter. Imagine a young scholar spending weeks finishing one book that actually rewires the mind. That waiting wasn't suffering for suffering's sake, it was fermentation. It made the reward deeper, heavier, more real. It gave the emotions a spine. Modern life replaced that process with instant stimulation. You don't have to pay the price of effort anymore. You don't have to earn beauty. You just swipe, and the brain gets a buffet. You can watch 100 versions of the planet in 60 seconds. You can get recognition without any real exposure, through filters and a caption that pretends to be philosophy. You can receive attention that costs no courage, no risk, no vulnerability, and the brain learns something dangerous: intensity without substance. When reward becomes too cheap, it stops feeling sacred. The brain is bombarded with high-intensity hits that don't require growth. It's like running a microwave at full power all day while there's no food inside. You're still heating something, but there's nothing to nourish. Eventually, the system burns out. People don't become wise from endless stimulation. They become flat. That's why so many young people say they're bored. They say nothing excites them. They say everything feels repetitive. But it's not that the world is less beautiful. It's that their emotional sensitivity has been dulled by artificial shortcuts. Their real feeling capacity has been replaced by reacting fast. And if you've ever wondered why it feels so unbearable to do nothing, look at the real pattern. It's not a personality trait, it's a symptom. Many people can't sit near a window without picking up the phone. They can't walk 10 minutes without headphones. They can't let sunlight pass slowly through a room because slow time feels like threat. In their mind, silence isn't rest. Silence is the moment they might hear themselves. The phone becomes a spiritual painkiller. Life is genuinely hard. It applies pressure, peer pressure, financial pressure, the pressure of uncertainty about the future. When something hurts, the brain does what brains do. It tries to reduce pain quickly, and the quickest, cheapest, always available option is distraction. Swipe and reality softens. Swipe and you don't look at unpaid bills. Swipe and you don't face career stagnation. Swipe and you don't ask the question that scares you most. You escape into someone else's highlight reel where everything looks effortless, where the problem seems solved by aesthetics, where emotions are packaged and served without consequence. But the escape has a cost. Reality doesn't disappear. It waits. And while you're busy consuming someone else's life, your real problems keep aging, sometimes quietly, sometimes violently. Your mind gets lighter for 15 minutes, then heavier for the next week. The time you spent escaping becomes the time you didn't spend healing, planning, building, or repairing. So why do people grab the phone immediately after sitting alone in a cafe? Why can't they breathe without checking? Because that quiet space is when the echo of the soul begins to speak. Questions rise like something alive under the floor. What am I doing with my life? What is real success? Why do I feel lonely even when I'm surrounded? Why do I crave approval so badly that I can't tolerate my own thoughts? Most people would rather die slowly than listen to those questions. Not literally die, but emotionally, slowly. The phone doesn't kill pain. It delays the appointment. It reschedules the confrontation until you're so numb you can't even identify what hurt you. And here's the psychological rule you must accept. People actually start thinking when they feel uncomfortable. Discomfort is the doorway to awareness. If you anesthetize every discomfort immediately, you don't grow. You only continue running. Fast culture makes people want everything faster, win faster, feel better faster, escape faster, avoid faster, do more in parallel, multitask everything. But the result is predictably tragic. When everything is fast, nothing is deeply owned. You don't master, you don't understand, you don't become. You just accumulate fragments. There's an illusion at the center of it. The belief that if you consume enough previews, enough reviews, enough spoilers, the experience will still feel complete. You think satisfaction can be achieved without going through the struggle of being present. You think you can reach the perfect moment without earning it. But try this thought experiment. Imagine someone tells you the entire plot of a blockbuster before you watch it. Every twist, every reveal, every ending. Will you still feel the excitement? Will your body react with the same shock when the moment arrives? Or will it feel like watching a stage show you already memorized? That's what the modern life does. It gives you the ending before you arrive at the beginning. It gives you the emotional map before you walk the terrain. Young people don't simply travel, they watch thousands of review videos of the place before they ever touch the sand. They don't simply eat, they learn the taste through influencer descriptions before their mouth ever experiences reality. They don't simply love. They study dating strategies from the internet before they risk one honest conversation. None of this is evil by itself. Learning is not a sin, but overuse changes the body's relationship to reality. It trains the brain to expect fireworks on demand. Then real life arrives without fireworks on command, and the nervous system screams, "This is boring. This is less. This is not enough. So they keep searching for something more intense, something more curated, something with music and edits, and then reality feels like a low-budget version of the dream. Now add another layer, social comparison, which is the silent poison inside every feed. When you watch other people's curated lives, your brain automatically compares. You take your messy backstage and compare it to someone else's polished stage. You don't compare your whole life to their whole life. You compare their highlight reel to your private suffering. That creates envy that doesn't look like envy. It looks like productivity goals that never end. It looks like spending to keep up. It looks like purchasing experiences to cover insecurity. It looks like performing success, not building it. People become frantic not because they lack talent. They become frantic because they feel behind in a race that has no finish line. To feel less empty, they consume more emotion, they shop more, they brag more, they chase attention like it's oxygen. But here's the cruel image. It's like running a marathon on a treadmill. The belt moves fast, the heart pounds, you sweat, you're exhausted, and you don't go anywhere. Your life looks busy, but your inner life doesn't advance. Let's talk about a childhood truth most people remember. During Tet holidays, parents give money with a line that seems casual but carries power. You'll get it, but later you'll be controlled by it. As kids, we're hypnotized by the temporary thrill of money now. We hear the promise and accept the limitation. We learn to think of satisfaction as something withheld, then released in short bursts. Back then, waiting taught a craft of feeling. You wanted a toy, you waited until holidays, you got it, and the emotion had time to grow. You wanted a book, you had to borrow it, earn it, ask for it. Desire matured. Appreciation became real. In modern life, desire gets no maturation. Everything becomes instant. Want food? Order in minutes. Want a movie? Press play immediately. Want a relationship? Swipe, match, message. Want the idea of a place? Watch it instantly. Want excitement? Inject it on demand. When gratification is immediate, people lose respect for the process. They stop valuing effort and time. They only value the outcome, and only the outcome that looks good. They become allergic to patience because patience feels like risk. Patience means you might feel emptiness, and emptiness is intolerable if you've been trained to medicate it. But happiness isn't harvested. Happiness ripens. The fruit comes from the tree, and the tree needs time. When you steal the harvest without growing the tree, the reward turns hollow. You get pleasure, but not fulfillment. You get stimulation, but not meaning. So many young adults have a tragic motivation problem. They can feel success for 10 seconds because a post got likes. They can feel validated for 10 seconds because a stranger commented something sweet. They can feel powerful for 10 seconds because a video went viral. Then they're asked to build a career for 10 years. They're asked to train discipline over months. They're asked to face rejection in the real world without an algorithm buffering the pain. And suddenly the task feels unbearable because their nervous system is used to quick hits. Some people plan their day like a magician sets up a performance. They pick music before cleaning. Sometimes choosing the track takes longer than cleaning itself. They search for movie summaries before watching. They pick reviews so thoroughly they basically skip the actual experience. Even the bathroom becomes a phone booth where time evaporates. This isn't just distraction, it's fear. It's the fear of missing out, and more deeply, the fear of not having enough. Fear that if they stop consuming, they'll notice emptiness. Fear that if they do the real thing might not impress them. They multitask because they want to feel full without doing the hard part of being present. They try to load multiple experiences into the same moment because they want to outrun boredom. But what they actually outrun is themselves. And then relationships suffer because love is not optimized by convenience. Love requires attention. It requires presence. It requires tolerating awkward silence while both people figure out how to be real. Yet so many couples get trapped in an indirect war over logistics. They want to go out, but spend an hour searching for the perfect place. They argue about which location is best, as if love is a project management task. The actual experience, going out together, becomes an afterthought. They spend their energy building side quests, then miss the main story. I've watched people tell themselves they're busy for love. They say they're planning so that both partners will be happy later. But planning is not the same as care. Thinking about the future is not the same as showing up now. Some people realize too late. They wake up one day and notice their partner has been trying to reach them for months. The relationship didn't collapse overnight. It slowly became distant while they prioritized work, money worries, future fantasies, and constant buffering through screens. The person they loved was present, but attention wasn't. There's also another kind of trap, the obsession with being informed without being transformed. People become like thick dictionaries without definitions. They know countless facts about hundreds of countries and thousands of dishes. They can name trends. They can mention ideas. But they lack the deep settling that happens when something enters you slowly. Depth needs time. Time needs stillness. Stillness needs the courage to do nothing for a while. But modern life fights stillness like a virus. Real emotions, like real wine, require oxygen. If you pour it and drink instantly, the aroma hasn't opened. The taste hasn't developed. The depth isn't there. If you constantly slam your nervous system with intense stimulation, feelings never ripen. They stay superficial. They stay thin. They stay easy to replace. So what do? You can't just limit screen time like it's a moral flaw. You have to change your relationship with discomfort and attention. You need an inner border, a mental fortress. Start with the most unsexy method imaginable. Change habits through small, stubborn rules. Not grand transformations. Not a dramatic detox that lasts 3 days. Your brain will resist. It has learned a pattern. It will protest. It will try to convince you that boredom is death. You have to use the slow technique, the chewing technique, the gumming strategy. You don't stop the craving by attacking it. You train the muscle that ignores it. Begin by forcing yourself to listen to a podcast for 20 minutes without skipping. 20 minutes. One uninterrupted chunk of human thought. Not 10 minutes with interruptions and 5 minutes of scrolling. One chunk. Your mind will scream, your body will itch, your mood will sour, you'll feel restless, irritated, even angry. Good. That agitation is proof that your system is waking up. It's the willpower muscle fighting for survival.